Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Deva Sarthyam
Sarthyam
Arjunasya Adau
Arjunasya Dau Kuruvam Gitamritam Dadau
Kurvam Gitamritam Dadau
Ditata Buddha.
Lokatra
Lokatra
Upakarya
Upakaryam
Lokatra Upkaryam.
Tasmai Krishnatmane Namaha.
Krishnatmane Namaha.
तस्मै कृष्णात्मने नमः।
Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Okay.
Okay. 2.1.
So,
You want to recite again, or we'll go with the puppet?
yeah, maybe we can recite again.
I think
Maybe we can recite and we'll follow either you or Kshitij.
Okay, I'll try 11. Kshitij, you do 12.
we do, yeah, exactly. Just
Okay.
finish till the puppet and then we'll move ahead.
Okay.
Okay.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Shri
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Bhagavan Uvacha
Asochan Anvasocastvam
Ashochyam
Anvasochastyam
Anvasochatyam
Prajna Vadamscha
Asocham
Bhashase
Pragyavadascha
Prajnavadansh
bhashase
Bhasache
Gatasun Agatasumascha
Gatasun
Gatasunascha
Nanuschanti Padantitah
Nadu
Nanusosyanti
Panditaha.
Panditah. Correct. Panditah. Correct. Once more we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Shri Bhagavan
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Uvacha
Asochan Anvasocastvam
Ashochan
Anvasochastyam
Anvasochatyam
Prajna Vadamscha Bhashase
Pragyavadascha
Pragyavadansha
bhashase
Bhashase
Gatasun
Pragyavadansh
Agatasumascha
Bhasache
Gatasuna Agatasunascha
Gatasun
Gatasunagatascha
Agatasunascha
Nanuschanti Panditah
Nanushanti
Nanushanti
Pandita
Panditaha.
Pandita.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said,
Sochachanti Pandita
the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. The Lord at once took the position of the teacher and chastised the student, calling him indirectly a fool. The Lord said, you are talking like a learned man, but you do not know that one who is learned, one who knows what is body and what is soul, does not lament for any stage of the body, neither in the living nor in the dead condition. As explained in later chapters, it will be clear that knowledge means to know matter and spirit and the controller of both. Arjun argues that religious principles should be given more importance than politics or sociology, but he did not know that knowledge of matter, soul, and the supreme is even more important than religious formularies. And because he was lacking in that knowledge, he should not have posed himself as a very learned man. As he did not happen to be a very learned man, he was consequently lamenting for something which was unworthy of lamentation. The body is born and is destined to be vanquished today or tomorrow. Therefore, the body is not as important as the soul. One who knows this is actually learned, and for him, there is no cause for lamentation, regardless of the condition of the material body.
So, what is the matter means actually?
Matter means body, material existence, so body,
Matter
which
is
is,
existing material body.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So basically, I think this one was clear, like
Clear. Yeah.
Rajguru
Clear.
said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if someone wants to do some explanation, that will be also good. Randir, do you think you can explain this 2.11?
Nay, yaar, I don't have an understanding of. I am a fool so far. That's why I'm in this class, man.
Mm-hmm.
But something you must have
Kalpesh, this.
understood also, right?
Okay, this is what it actually. This is what I understand from this.
Mm,
Um, Arjun was actually lamenting the fact that he had his family members, the teachers, all were in front of him, and as a Kshatriya, as someone who's trying to gain his kingdom, he was either they're ready to die, and he's having to kill them. So, as a result of that, he had a lot of grief. In fact, he's ready to put down his bow and walk away. But what Krishna is trying to tell him is, why are you lamenting? Why is this grief? Because you claim that you are very learned, but that
mm,
being said, you don't have an understanding that matter, the soul, and the controller of these three is what is the definition of knowledge. And since you do not even know that, right, then in that case, how can you call yourself a learned person? If you know
mm,
these situations, if you know these facts, then you would realize that there is no grief then.
mm,
Without this knowledge, you are basically running around calling yourself learned. You calling yourself, yeah, learned, but in reality, you don't even know these facts. So why are you crying over something which is not even material, or which is not
mm,
even relevant right now? So in reality, he's basically calling him a fool.
mm.
I mean, that's my take on it,
No, that's fair enough, I think.
Correct. Agree with that.
right? The
Tikkalan,
okay,
yeah.
trying to take it in today's day and age is,
Mm,
our culture is so many thousands of years old, right? We have
mm,
Ayurveda, we have so many different things. But if you go into something like North America, right, the Western
mm,
world, they believe that the same extract taken from our Ayurvedic plants, and so they'll go ahead and package it into medicines, in fact antidepressants, and they'll turn around and says, well, you guys know nothing because we're not taking Western medication. But they don't realize that there is an ancient philosophy, there's an ancient knowledge system which they have no access to,
mm,
right? Just because you read three books, on psychiatry, that doesn't necessarily mean, you know that doesn't necessarily mean that there is a entire knowledge base. There is entire base knowledge of spirituality about, our introduction to the Bhagavad Gita, which none of these people know about. Yet, according to them, I mean, anyways, I'm going on.
No, no, keep going. It's interesting what you're saying.
I mean, it's a similar situation that we find in everyday life too, right? At least I found it when I came to Canada. Is people found that, oh, because we're coming over here, they found us to be, I guess, as people thought that people in India are uncivilized, backward. But that being said, the value structure, everything that we actually have gone over, we have a civilization which is which is thousands of years old,
Mm,
right? We have so much of exposure to spirituality, to a culture where we are exposed to Sri Krishna, right?
mm,
And without even realizing where we actually come from, I mean, we're still considered, kya bolte hain, we're still considered uncultured. In this case, is you have Arjun going ahead and lamenting. He's basically saying, "Is oh, I'm losing this. I'll have to
mm,
do this." So it's a it's basically against, it's a counter argument.
Hmm.
It's his sense of loss, whereas us, in this case, they're basically saying is we don't know anything. Lord Krishna in this case is turning around and saying is, well, you are an you're not as intelligent as you are because you don't understand anything. I don't know, maybe I'm just confusing things.
Just one thing in that. Uh, Sorry, Abhijit, you go first.
No, you can.
Okay. See, when you are saying, na, Randir, that they are thinking of us as a cultured or uncultured, but you are saying that we do have this so much of spiritual knowledge, Sri Krishna consciousness. Uh, it doesn't matter what they think is their view, is their point of view. We don't have to follow their path. We have to follow Sri Krishna's path, and we are doing it.
Hare
Kalpesh over
Krishna.
here, Kalpesh Randir, that was
Hare
very
Krishna,
good.
Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. How are you all?
Good.
Good.
Great,
How
sir.
are you?
Okay,
Good.
great. So I'm thinking
Good.
that 2.11, 12, and 13, somebody will just recite all the three verses straight up.
We were discussing 2:11.
Only.
Yeah, Randir was
Oh,
giving us a lecture on that, and Rishi was actually, I mean, a lecture in the sense he was giving
okay.
his very good
His understanding.
Okay, that's
understanding.
fine. That's fine. That's good. So what did you understand from 2.11? What is the main aspect of 2.11? What did you understand?
So for me, what I found that that we are just a soul, and we are not this matter, we are not this body. So
We've just
we are
lost
we.
someone, did we?
Aditi,
I
Okay.
she's
Okay.
think
back.
so, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Continue. Sorry. Yeah.
So, so the life and death does not really matter because eventually we are a soul, and soul is going to exist even after we lose body.
Does this say, does this 2.11 speak about soul?
No, it doesn't directly say word
It's
soul.
continued.
Yeah. Yeah. Now 2.11, what is the significance of 2.11? What is,
2.11,
yeah,
Okay,
2.11
2.11.
is saying that you don't lament for the wrong reason. You are
Don't,
lamenting
do
for,
not lament for the wrong reason.
yes, or if
Wrong.
you're
Yeah.
doing that, then don't oppose as a learned man.
like don't lament for living or
And
dead.
the wrong reason is what Kalpesh elaborated is that it is a material body. You are lamenting that
Okay.
the material body will die.
Sir,
Yeah.
till now, Sri Krishna was actually just talking to Arjun in a very friendly way. But here he has started his teaching. He's taken up the role of his guru.
Mhm.
In this verse, he starts very firmly. He says, "Why are you crying over this? When you know you are a learned man yourself, then why you are being foolish, and why are you crying over things which are going to happen?" And regarding what Kalpesh says about souls, he's just saying that you should not be crying for anybody who is alive or dead, because it is the life, it is only the material body what you are crying for.
Is it, is he talking about material body in this verse?
Not exactly.
Okay. So what is he talking about in this verse, Krishna?
Lamentation.
Okay.
The
Yes,
morning.
that's right. Morning one. That is Ashocha Anvashochastvam. Ashocha. So Ashocham is lamentation. You do not lament. Okay. What is the next thing he's talking about?
Those who
Yes.
are
Yeah.
wise people don't lament on death and life.
Okay. What is
Lack of
Asun?
knowledge, sir.
What is Asun?
Life.
Morning.
Hmm. This is the place where we dig down a little bit more. I think we discussed this last time. What is Asun? Anyone remembers?
Life. Life.
Yes, something else.
Life
Something.
air.
Vayu.
Ah,
Vayu.
yeah,
Pranavayu.
yeah, yeah. Full
Pran.
Pranavayu.
marks.
Pran.
Full marks there. It's a life air. Okay,
Pran. Yes.
life
Yeah.
air. Now, understand why Krishna is talking about life air. gat asun, agatasunch. See, his words are very limited. So Krishna is not just talking this verse, he is talking all the verses together. So he starts with this 12, 13, one after the other to Arjun. But every verse is separated for something significant. So this one has lamentation, of course. Number one, which says Ashoch Anvashochastvam Pragyavadamscha Bhashase. So what is Pragyavadamscha Bhashase? First thing, he is actually catching his bluff of Arjun. Calling a bluff. What does that mean? Calling a bluff. You catch someone. He's catching.
We can't hear you, Prabhuji.
I can't hear you.
Okay. So what is the bluff that he has called of Arjun? Anyone guesses?
That you call yourself learned, but
Learned,
in
yeah.
Yes.
reality, you don't even
Yes.
understand that. You don't even understand why you are lamenting. If you
Very
knew
good.
what you're
Yeah.
lamenting,
Yeah. So you're lamenting. What is lamentation?
Grief.
fear of
Fear,
fear
grief,
of
right?
losing.
Morning
Grief,
crying.
fear, mourning, grief. All these things. Where do they sit? Which area of the body do they sit? Is it physical?
Senses.
Mind.
Sense.
Mind.
It's
Mm.
emotional. It is in the
Mm,
mind.
yeah.
These emotions are in the mind. Okay. And he's calling him that pragyavadam shabhashase. That means you learned talks. You are speaking of these learned words. Have you emotionally absorbed those learned words?
Hmm.
See, when we understand Bhagavad Gita, when we're reading all this, are we able to see that there are emotional changes within us,
Mm,
Yes.
mental changes within us? Only
yeah.
then that knowledge is absorbed. So someone may be a learned person, but he behaves like an idiot. Will you call him a learned person?
No.
No.
Very, very educated, intelligent person at a very senior position. But as soon as you tell him something, gets angry, straight up. He cannot hold his emotions. Do you call him learned?
No.
No.
Even if he's very literate, he can't hold his emotions. So education or knowledge is only realized or seen that it is applied when the emotions are intact, the mind is intact. It has to be seen in your emotions. When we say composed person, learned and composed person, means he absorbs any kind of, you know, tribulations from outside, absorbs them, handles them carefully, and responds very nicely. Is Arjun doing that? No,
No.
No.
he
Not yet.
is reacting. He's reacting based on his senses. So Krishna has called his bluff that you're talking of the learned words, but you're not behaving like one, man.
Mm,
Your emotions are out of your hands. They're out, they're just out. You can't even handle them. That is pragyavadamsha, just calling a bluff. You know, it's a bad thing. It's not great. It's not that simple. He's calling him that you are talking about big things, but I think you haven't even understood what they mean. Emotionally, you are very weak. If emotionally someone is sound, they don't lament. You're emotionally weak. First, calling of the bluff. And the next one is a bit more technical. when he talks about gatasun, asun, life air. Now, let's get into the diagram which we had discussed about the three circles, about physical body, subtle body, and the soul. Yes. Can anyone tell me what is a subtle body? What is a subtle body? What does it contain? Can anyone tell me?
Subtle body is the
Soul.
mind.
Mind. Next. It's subtle body is a combination of a few things. One is the mind.
Soul.
No.
So
What is it?
soul on top of that the mind, and
Okay,
then
okay.
the
Where is that circular diagram? Does anyone have it?
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. If you have that, have a look at that. Have a close look at that. We are going to make one more circle. So have a very close and understanding of that.
Subtle body is made. Sorry,
Yeah,
subtle
yes.
body is made of mind, ego, and intelligence.
Very good. Mind, intelligence, and false ego. These three make your subtle body. And where is it sitting? If you open the
Between
circles.
physical body and soul.
Correct.
Ins-
Physical body, soul, in the center is the circle, which is subtle body.
Mhm.
Now, Krishna is talking about the Gatasuna, the life air. Now, we will position this in this diagram. But before that, understanding is when you die, when we die, what happens? Physical body goes.
Material body goes, yeah.
So, material body means
Physical body.
physical body. And what else goes?
Soul.
Soul will
Soul goes.
obviously, no, it will get transferred.
It
It
will
will
be
get
moved
transferred.
on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what goes away? What departs? Soul
Mind,
departs.
mind,
Okay. But
intelligence,
what is, yeah, okay, yes, what is it?
mind, intelligence will all go away.
Ego. So subtle body, if you open that circle again.
I've shared, I've
Yeah,
shared it with people if
good,
they want to have a
good.
look.
So physical body and the subtle body, they just go away. Soul remains. That is
Yeah.
called liberation. मोक्ष मोक्ष जिसको बोलते हो ना,
Hmm.
उसमें फिजिकल और मेंटल सटल बॉडी दोनों निकल जाती है, खुल जाता है सब, और सोल रह जाती है. That is death. But if you have karma associated,
Karma is,
then you have subtle body on top of the soul, which goes along with it.
yeah, that was going to be my question because they say subtle body also goes because in some
It
places I've
also
read,
goes only when you are conditional soul. When you are liberated soul, then the whole thing gets open. Then you are liberated. इसको मोक्ष बोलते हैं. तो मोक्ष मोक्ष सुनते हो ना तुम लोग. मोक्ष का मतलब ये है कि सारे कर्म जीरो हो गए, सारा सर्कल ऊपर से हट गया, सोल फ्री हो गया. That is liberation, freedom. That is called moksha.
so
Yeah,
okay, if karma is not zero, a conditioned soul, so karma will go with the subtle body. What about
correct.
the mind, intelligence, false ego will
That
not
is
go?
subtle body.
So we are saying we are carrying the same intelligence that we had before.
Exactly.
Same ego, intelligence, all three
Yeah,
will go.
the
That
whole,
is what defines the nature when you
correct,
manifest in a physical
correct,
body.
correct. So when you go there, you carry. Sometimes you'll find the children who are very sharp. Yeah,
Hmm.
you find them, right? How's that the same level kid is more sharper than the other, even though the same teacher? Someone is born sharp. How's that? So they're carried forward. When you understand this concept, na, everything will be clear. You'll understand, yes, this is why it happens. सारे myths हट जाएंगे दिमाग में से. Okay, so you understood the death now and the liberation and the conditioned soul. Clear?
Hmm.
Yep.
Now let's place the life air. Life air sits between subtle body and the soul. उधर एक circle आएगा. So someone who is good at drawing now, who drew the last three circles? Maybe we can ask the same person or someone else can draw. Between the subtle body and the soul flows the life air, which is called pranavayu.
Mm-hmm.
So when there is a death, physical body goes, subtle body goes, and the life air also goes. इसीलिए प्राण गए. That's why they say. So the air is gone out of the body. So we say in scientific terms that oxygen is required for the body, but there is air which is inbuilt inside the body, which rotates and keeps the flow on. That's called pranavayu, life air. That is what Krishna is talking about. Gat asun. It has a gati. So to illustrate that, you can think about it. That when we have emotional issues, when we are emotionally imbalanced, the first thing that's affected is the breathing. When we are angry, we are stressed. The first thing somebody will tell you, take a deep breath because it de-stresses you. If the life air is subtle and composed, it will de-stress you. That's why pranayam is a big exercise, more than the physical exercises. It keeps your mental balance good. So if you want to keep yourself emotionally sound, make sure your breathing is composed. It is actually your life air. And we have been given the life based on the breaths, not based on the years. वो कृष्ण को और ब्रह्मा को पता नहीं है जनवरी फरवरी. They don't know the years. They have given us breaths. So you breathe until your last. Your life air is your life. Calculation वैसा होता है. Number of breaths. So when you pant heavily, when you breathe very fast because of stress or whatever, you're losing your life air. Someone who breathes very composed and calmly will definitely live longer and a healthy life. Emotionally healthy. Lamentation is in the mind. Breath controls the mind.
Breath controls mind in what way exactly? Can you?
Okay. So if you breathe properly, your mind will be controlled. It will be in composed form. So say for example, if you're too much stressed or too much angry, just sit down and breathe calmly for 10 minutes. You'll see the difference.
Hmm.
Just simple breathing. They call it bhastrika. Fast breathing, slow breathing, simple breathing. Sit down and breathe. So if you do that, your mind will be calm. That's how you can control your mind. Anxiety, stress, all these things can be controlled by proper breathing. Does it make sense?
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's where your life air sits.
Yeah.
Krishna is
Prabhuji,
talking. Yeah, yeah.
now when there are people doing physical activities as well, right? There are almost there are more than half of mankind does physical activities and physical work. Now
Yes,
they by inherently they have to take more breath,
that's
right?
okay.
So
That's okay. So
okay.
even when you do physical exercises like Ashtanga Yoga, the physical exercises, the asanas, when you do that, that also has a breathing associated with it.
Yeah.
So even when you do gym exercises, you have to be careful that you're breathing in the right proportion. Even when you're doing push-ups or you're doing dumbbells or you're doing whatever, the breathing has to be in sync with what you're doing. So even when you're doing sit-ups, for example, you cannot be breathing out at some position and breathing in at some position. It has to be accurate. Only then it will be effective. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's right.
Yeah. So physical exercises also involve breathing. It's attached. They're not separate. That's why yoga is complete. When we say yoga, the asanas, when we do yoga, it involves breathing also. So initially you do breathing exercises and then you go to the physical. So you go from subtle to physical. That's why they're always better than just going to the gym. A yoga is always better. That's what the notion is. I don't know how good it is practically, but I, I think it is. I believe it is. Because breathing makes your mind composed and calm. And that should be taken care of. So you are strong emotionally. Krishna is calling the bluff of Arjun, saying that you are not emotionally strong. People whose life air is gone or in, you should not be affected by that. If your life air is controlled.
Can you repeat that? That was a really nice sentence.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, please.
yeah. So the main thing is that your emotions should be strong. You should be strong emotionally. Your mind should be composed and calm. So you should not be lamenting on the life air of someone which is in the body or it is out of the body if your own life air is controlled.
Hmm.
Because when you are emotionally controlled, then you are mentally controlled. If you're mentally controlled, then you do not lament
Mm.
whether life air exists in someone or if it goes.
Hmm.
This is the understanding of this verse. Proper understanding. Now you understand this verse? What is Krishna saying?
Hmm.
This is what Arjun understands. Any questions on this one? Understood 2.11?
Hmm.
Now it will be easy for you to memorize this verse. So ashocha anvashochastvam, lamenting, mourning. That is what it is talking about. Then gatasuna agatasunascha. See, he's using the same kind of style, you know. So ashocha anvashochastvam pragyavadamscha bhashase. So you are lamenting who is not worthy of lamentation. Whether the life here remains or not remains, gatasuna agatasunascha. You should not be lamenting. You're lamenting of something which is not worthy of lamentation. That means you are not emotionally strong. You're not learned as you are talking like. And next is those who are wise, who has realized, who have practiced this emotionally strong. They don't care if someone is life airs, who have understood the life air and have controlled the life air. They don't. So it's practical implementation if you look at it. If our life air is in tone, is in control, then there are less chances we will lament. So take care of your breaths, take care of your breathing.
Prabhuji, but what does it means by, there are two sections here, right? Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. I think he's got the phone. He's on call, I guess.
Sorry, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I was asking one question.
Yes.
In the translation, there is one last line. It says, "Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead."
Yes.
Right? Nor for the dead, I think I understood now. But what does it means by wise people don't lament for living as well?
Do we lament for the living? Do you lament for the living?
Uh, yeah, I mean, maybe lament. I don't know if it's a very strong word for that, but if you find someone living creature is a difficult situation,
Mhm.
then you feel grief, right?
Yep. That is exactly what he's talking about.
So say one animal is stuck in some mire,
Mhm,
and he's trying
mhm,
to come out of it,
mhm.
and he's saying, "Don't lament about it." Is that what it means?
It doesn't mean don't help.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
They say that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Don't suffer
Hmm.
for that person. Help him.
Hmm.
You understand that the other person is in pain. Even you are in pain sometimes.
Hmm.
But don't start lamenting. Don't start suffering.
Hmm.
Even we are living, right?
Hmm.
So you understand the pain. That's okay. But suffering is your choice. Lamentation is your choice. Does it make sense?
Hmm.
Yes? Does it really make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Should we go to the next verse?
Just one thing, I think I don't know who, I can't see all of them, but someone is flipping pages, so sometimes we lose your voice actually in between.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
you lost my voice because I think my phone
No,
came
no,
in.
not because of the
Not
phone,
with
but
me.
then I put people on the mute. I don't know who is, so I put everyone on mute except you.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
okay.
right.
So
So
if anybody
now,
wants to speak after, just unmute yourself.
okay.
Thank
All right. So I'll share my screen now. We'll go to the next verse. Okay. न त्वेवाहं जातु नासं न त्वं नेमे जनाधिपाः न चैव न भविष्यामः सर्वे वयमतः परम्. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. What did you understand from this verse?
you. This is the thing I think that I was saying earlier, is that we are soul and we are eternal.
Correct. Okay.
And also Krishna is definitely eternal, so we will always exist, and we always existed in past,
Correct.
and will exist in future.
Future. Very good. What do you understand by this? I mean, a little bit more deeper if you think about it. If you read this, never was there a time when I did not exist, where Krishna says that, nor you.
Prabhuji, if I may.
Yes, yes, please. Yes.
So this is also from the a bit I read in the purport and in the introduction also. So it talks about like the supreme soul, it's Krishna, and then we are there, which are in quality the same, but in quantity not the same.
Very good.
And the
Yeah,
Mayavadi theory talks about when you go and get united. So, but here it says it's not like that. He is there and we are there. We're all there, but we are separate also.
very good. That is the correct understanding. That we have, there is a personality with Krishna as well as us, and there is individuality. So, individuality within the personality. So, we are individuals. Everyone is an individual,
Dvaita.
but we are also connected to Krishna. We have to go back to Krishna. That is the understanding. So, Dvaita means
Duality, us and him.
correct. But what are we trying to understand? A bit more than that. What is it? Achintya Bhed Abhed. The concept which Bhagavad Gita speaks about is that we are two, but we are connected as well. So we are parts, we part, and parcel which has to go back. So it is not just Dvaita, it is parcel also. That is Achintya Bheda Bheda. So here Krishna talks about that you are a soul. We are eternal. Both of us, I and me, we both are eternal. And we are individuals. We are two different entities. This is what Krishna is saying. So that refutes all the other philosophies of merging and whatnot and all those things. It refutes all that. We are different. Everyone is an individual soul. Okay? So this is the main aspect, main point of this verse. Okay, let's go to 2.13. He further continues. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara तथा देहांतर प्राप्तिर धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति देहिनोस्मिन यथा देहे. He who is in the body is still in the body even if the body does not exist. So he further continues on that soul aspect, that even if the body is gone, the owner still exists.
Hmm.
That is what it means, embodied soul. Yeah. So that is what it means, that embodied soul is still alive. Owner doesn't go. The body goes away. And a person who is not bewildered by such change, tatha dehantara praptir. So after the soul dies, after the body dies or perishes, you get another body. So you don't get bewildered by such change. That is a sober person. Okay. Sober means knowledgeable. Yeah. Dhira Purush. Person who's composed, who understands, who's knowledgeable, who's who's emotionally sound. So he's telling him that you are not emotionally sound. This is who is emotionally sound person. Dhira. You would have heard this word dhiraj. Dhiraj rakh yaar, dhiraj rakh. Yeah? That means keep calm. So you'll remain calm if these changes, they don't affect you. Then you are dhiraj. Otherwise you're adhir. Yeah. Sober is not the direct meaning. Sober in today's world means either you are drunk or you are not. Yeah. So that is closest meaning. But dhira means someone who's composed, who's dhir, who compose and calm when there are tribulations. You see such things. Make sense? Yes.
Yep.
Kalpesh and Aditi, gone for a break?
No,
No, no, we
actually,
were here.
Okay.
my phone is running out of battery, so I've kept up, facing ceiling,
Okay.
and there's a light coming there. So if people will get disturbed, so I turn off the video.
Okay, and Aditi, same issue?
No, no, I'm coming back. Wait.
Okay. All right. Now we will go to the next verse where Krishna explained this, the the tribulations which come into our lives. So you see the series he's continuing with. He said you are not an emotionally strong person. Why? Because you're considering life here as everything. It comes and goes. No, don't worry about it. Next he says that neither there was a time when you and me were not there. So we're all individual souls. And then he says what? The owner does not die. The soul does not die. The body may perish. And now he talks about the distress which comes into our life, the tribulations which come to our life. That is 2.14. Very nice verse, something to memorize. It's beautiful. And there is one word which you can, think about, and that will help you keep yourself composed and calm. Dhira. So that is what we have to practice. So this is the verse which can be practiced. 2.14. Okay. So please repeat after me. मात्रा स्पर्शास्तु कौन्तेय
मात्रा
Traspashasthu
स्पर्शास्तु
Kaunteya
शास्तु
कौन्तेय
कौन्तेय
शीतोष्ण सुख दुःखदाः
शीतोष्ण सुख दुःखदाः
Shitoshna Sukha Dukkada
आगामपायिनो अनित्यास्
आगामपायिनो
Agamapayo
नित्यास्
Nitya
तां स्थितिक्षस्व भारत
Tam
तां
Stitikshasva
स्थितिक्षस्व
Bharata
भारत
भारतः
मात्रा स्पर्शास्तु कौन्तेय
मात्रा
मात्रा
Matra
स्पर्शास्तु
स्पर्शास्तु
Sparshasthu
कौन्तेय
कौन्तेय
Kaunteya
शीतोष्ण सुख दुःखदाः
शीतोष्ण
Shitoshna
सुख
शीतोष्ण
Sukha
दुःखदाः
Dukkada
आगामपायिनो अनित्यास्
आगामपायिनो
Agamapayino
नित्यास्
Nitya
तां स्थितिक्षस्व भारत
तां
Tam
स्थितिक्षस्व
Stitikshasva
भारत
Bharata
मात्रा स्पर्शास्तु कौन्तेय
मात्रा
Matra
स्पर्शास्तु
स्पर्शास्तु
Sparshasthu
कौन्तेय
कौन्तेय
Kaunteya
शीतोष्ण सुख दुःखदाः
शीतोष्ण
Shitoshna
शीतोष्ण
सुख
सुख
Sukha
दुःखदाः
Dukkada
दुःखदाः
आगामपायिनो अनित्यास्
आगामपायिनो
Agamapayo no
नित्यास्
आगात्यास्
Nityas
तां स्थितिक्षस्व भारत
Tam
तां
तं
स्थितिक्षस्व
Stitikshasva
शिक्षस्व
भारत
Bharata
भारत
very very sweet and very very powerful verse. This one is matra sparshastu kaunteya. This is only the sensory perception. Only senses are reacting. It is only affecting your outer body or the senses. Kaunteya, O son of Kunti. What? Shitoshna sukha dukkhada. Sheet, winter. Ushna, summer. Sheet, Ushna. Sukha dukkhada. The happiness and the distress, they are like winter and summer. They only affect your senses. Agam apaino anityas. Agam, that is future. Apaino, past. Anityas, no time, no schedule. You know, they were in the past, they will be coming in the future without any schedule. Anityas, all these happiness and this distress, they will have no time. They will come anytime and they will only affect your senses, physical, outer body. So what you should do? Tam titikshasva bharata. Titikshasva. Control. Tolerate. Control yourself and tolerate. Tolerate them. Because they're outer. How do you tolerate? There are ways to do it. You can do pranayam. Control your life air. You can do chanting, which is further better, at the level of the soul. So when say physical, life air, mental, and soul. So you see these 4 layers. Where are these happiness and distress affecting? Only in the outer layer. Sensory perceptions. So senses, when they are affected, you should not be getting your mind, your soul being affected. Don't drag them. They're only sensory perceptions. That's why tolerate them. Everyone knows Siddhartha Gautama, Buddha, as we say, Buddha. There was once a person who met him when he came back after, self-realization, when he came back to his kingdom. There was one person who came to him and started abusing him, left and right. Too many abuses, because his son also had taken that path because of Gautam Buddha. So that man was abusing him left and right. He finished abusing and saying whatnot, but Gautam Buddha was unaffected. Once he finished, Gautam Buddha said one thing to that person, that when you go to someone's house, and someone offers you something to eat, what do you do? He said, I eat. He said, okay. And what about the leftovers? What do you do with them? He says, I give it back to the owner or the host. So Gautam Buddha says, I didn't even take any of your offerings which you have given me. So it goes back to you, unfortunately. He didn't say that, but this was. So how do you tolerate? Because they are only affecting your body. It doesn't mean that someone comes and, what you call, abuses you or something. You should respond. But the understanding is that you don't get affected. Of course you respond, but you do not suffer. You don't lament. You don't get affected. Tolerate it at the physical level itself, because it is only the senses which are receiving it. The life air is in your hands. Mind is in your hands. The soul is yours. That is you. Do not get affected by these external effects, which are only sensory perceptions. Matra sparshastu. They are only sparsha. Do you understand this verse? So what is he trying to refute, Krishna, of Arjun? Which sense perception of his?
Compassion.
No, that is not a sense perception. Which sense?
Sense.
Indecision. Indecision.
No. Which
No, we
was the
have 5
sense?
senses, no?
So which
Uh,
sense wisdom was
Hearing.
the problem?
Hearing.
Oh, What did he wanted to do when he took Krishna in the center of the battlefield?
Enjoyment.
What he wanted to
No?
enjoy?
He wanted to see both the sides
Yes, he wanted
of
to
the arena.
see.
See, yeah, okay.
He wanted to see everyone. And that's where his senses got
Mm,
bewildered. Yes.
yeah.
So Krishna is telling him that what you are seeing and getting affected from are just the sparsastu. Don't get affected by them. Tolerate it. So he's already started answering and understanding what has happened to Arjun. He knows what has happened to Arjun. That's why he's answering the senses part. Lamentation and the senses. He'll further continue, but that we will take in the next discussion.
Hmm.
Okay, so we'll end our discussion here. Any comments or questions? Please ask. Yes, Randir.
Randir, you are mute.
I apologize. So, if you, in the purport of this, I was reading about Kshatriya, uh, Kshatriya, what is it? The religious principle of Kshatriya, right?
I
Now,
don't, I don't
earlier,
know.
I mean, he says one must execute his duty in spite of climatic inconveniences. Similarly, to fight is the religious principle of the Kshatriyas. Now, the question is here, the definition is being given about the religious duty of the Kshatriyas, whereas in the past, Arjun was using the same concept of religious duty and he was hiding behind it. And Lord Krishna told him that you are a fool because don't hide behind religious duties. It is, you can't call yourself learned, right? He's saying someone who's just talking about religious duty is doesn't, as Kalpesh mentioned this, he doesn't understand the real meaning.
No, Krishna is not saying that to him. Krishna is saying that the person who's learned is learned at the physical as well as emotional level as well. So if you consider
Okay,
yourself learned, then you will not lament. You will not be emotionally disturbed. Duty is different.
oh,
You're doing a duty or
right.
not, that is different. But a learned person does not lament. That is what he's telling him. You're emotionally sound. If you understand what you're talking about, what the philosophy you're talking about, if you're learned, if you're telling all these things of compassion and enjoyment and all these things which he is talking about, you're talking about learned things, right? So when you're talking about all these knowledge, have you emotionally accepted that knowledge? Have you really understood? Have you applied it in your life? Or you're just talking, just heard somewhere? So if you are so much learned and understand about Varna Sankara, if you understand about enjoyment, if you understand about compassion, if you understand about sinful reactions, if you understand all these, if you read, if you have the knowledge of that, why are your emotions not showing that knowledge? Why the emotions are showing that kind of amateurness? Your emotions are not syncing up with your knowledge. Emotionally weak, can't handle
Okay, I
things.
understand that now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay, that one, that word changes things.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
emotionally
Rishi.
vague.
The same thing Prabhuji is mentioned about, imbibing it and being able to practice it. Like this appears to be very difficult to do. Like
Correct. Absolutely.
how to, if you see in the news a boy has fallen into a small well, you end up feeling that pain and suffering also, because you
Uh,
start place yourself in that person's this one. I
yeah,
mean, I'm saying
yeah,
normal
yeah,
behavior
yeah, yeah,
for majority of people.
yeah, yeah,
That is what we have to sort of come out of. I understand
yeah,
that, but
yeah,
how, what is the path to do that?
yeah. When you understand these are only sensory perceptions, like it will come further in Bhagavad Gita also. Like for example, there's a cricket match, and suddenly everyone is excited. For the whole time, 2 3 weeks, the World Cup is going on. Everyone's talking about that. Excitement. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All good, 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 good. But once that is over, it's over. That's it.
Hmm.
I still remember in 1983, I used to live in Mumbai. At that time in Vikroli, and 83 when the world, I used to run. I was running out. And so happy with the firecrackers. Now nobody remembers. We just have nostalgia about it. Nobody cares. Nobody even knows who was there in the team. You know, nobody even knows. I still remember the guy who was the best bowler at that time, Mohinder Amarnath. For some people, it might be a known name, but some people don't even know. Looking at today's cricket, they don't even know who's that. So these are only sensory perception only at that time. They will go away with the time. Sometimes you'll have this news, sometimes you'll have that news, sometimes you'll this, sometimes that excitement, sometimes this sadness. They'll keep coming and going.
Sometimes, if it is something not related to you, then it becomes easier. So if it's a news item only, then
Mm,
the level of impact is lesser.
yeah.
But in this case, and I'm in that context, I'm thinking when it is somebody is relatives and this and that, then it becomes more difficult
What if
to
someone tells you
detach.
that you'll never die? So you'll
May
always be
happy,
present. So you always be
yeah.
present. That's what Krishna says in 2.12. Then there was never a time when I was not there, when you were not there, when these kings were not there. They're always there. And they'll always be there. There will be no time when they will not be there.
So,
What
are we
else?
saying that we should not have love-hate relationship?
No, we're not saying that. We're not saying at all.
Then,
I mean, we are not saying anything. Krishna's saying that we should not lament.
Don't get emotionally disturbed by any of these different activities that happen. I look at
They,
it way, Prabhuji, in two very good things in this verse. No matter there is sun or there is night, no matter there is summer or winter, you should perform your duties as you're doing, bearing the heat on the outer
very
part of
nice.
your body. That's
Very
one part
nice.
of it.
Yeah.
And the second part, which you mentioned, was when there are emotional disturbances in your life, like successes or failures, try to react to both also in the same manner
Try to
instead of
tolerate them.
or tolerate them. Yeah,
tolerate. Okay.
Tolerate them.
tolerate them
You
in
have
the
to
same.
tolerate them. And toleration is possible when you take the right shelter.
Yeah,
When you take shelter of Krishna, Krishna's names, then toleration is easier.
Hmm.
See, reaction is very easy. You see something and you get excited or you get start lamenting. It's very easy. But someone who tolerates it and responds with a composed mind, that is knowledge. That is experience. That's value. That's where you see. Where do you see these guys who are like, general managers, CEOs and all that? If you see them reacting on small petty things, you'll say no, he's not capable of handling that. So basically you go up on the ladder of your spiritual progress also when you're able to tolerate these sensory perceptions. Hate, anger, lust, greed, tolerate them. Excitement. You know, happiness. Very difficult to tolerate happiness. Trust me. Hmm? Very difficult. Just want to share and tell everything to everyone. See, Facebook runs on that. The biggest billion-dollar industry. Gossip. They don't tolerate. They can't tolerate the urge to speak. पता ना है सबको. I went to this place. I have to show it to everybody. You know, posts and this, that, whatnot. WhatsApp and Facebook, everywhere they'll put statuses, this, that, show. Everywhere I've done this. Can't hold it. Tolerate नहीं कर सकता. Happiness. Tolerate नहीं कर सकता. If you can't tolerate happiness, you won't be able. It will be very difficult for you to tolerate the sorrows. Very difficult to hold yourself back. You know. And that is a concept we will come to uh, in chapter 2. But at the moment, Krishna is focusing on the section which is soul. You are not this body. And that will continue for some time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
मजा आ गया आज.
Any other questions, comments?
Very nice today. I mean, it's always nice. It's just learn few new things.
Mm. So the word is titikshasva. Can you say that one by one? Starting with Randhir. Titikshasva.
Titikshaswa.
Yes,
That
Randhir.
was Kalpesh.
Can you try? Yes.
We'll go
Okay, I think he's
titikshasva.
on mute. Uh, Rishi.
Titikshasva.
Titikshasva. Abhijit, you want to try?
Titikshasva.
Titikshasva. Kalpesh.
Titikshaswa.
Titikshasva. Kshitij.
Titikshasva.
Yeah, I think you pronounce it very correctly because your name also has sha.
Yeah, it is.
Titikshasva. So it's the sh and
So the first
ksh.
person, so the first person who pronounced was me as well. So Randir has missed his chance.
Randhir, you want to pronounce that? Titikshasva.
Titik
Titikshasva.
Is
Yeah.
that Titik Saswa? I'm sorry, of being Titik Saswa. Is
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
wrong?
If you say that quite a few times, the sa and sha will be very clear and the lisping issues will go away.
Titikshasva.
Or if anyone
Titik
has it,
Shashwa.
I'm not saying you're doing it wrong. You're saying it correctly. Titikshasva. Yeah. But if you say
Titik
these words,
Saswa.
kshasa. So sha and sa will be separate.
Sasa.
Titikshasva. Yes,
Sa and
Aditi,
Sha.
you want to try?
Titik Shashwa. Titik
Titik
Shashwa.
Titikshashwa.
Titik
No, it is
Shashwa.
not shasha. It
Titik
is
Shash.
titikshasva. It is sha and sa separate.
Titik
Titikshashwa.
Shashwa.
Titikshasva.
Titikshashwa.
Titik
Yeah.
Shashwa.
So try
Titik
shastra.
Titik
Shastra.
Shashwa.
So try shastra.
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 Shaswa.
Shastra.
Shastra.
Shastra. Shastra.
Shastra.
Shastra.
Yeah.
Shastra. Shastra.
Shastra.
Shastra.
Shastra. For the shastra is for someone
Shastra.
who is sober, and shastra is for someone who is not sober. So he understands with shastra.
Shastra. Shastra.
So
Okay.
titik shasva. Titik shasva
Shastra.
is to tolerate. Yeah.
Titik
Titik
Shastra.
shasva.
Titik
Titik,
Shastva.
titik shasva.
Titik Shastva.
Yeah.
Titik
So you can,
Shaswa.
Tikshaswa.
yeah. Titik shasva. So you read from
Titik
that.
Tashwa. That's
This is a
Titik Tashwa. Titik Shastva.
okay.
Just
Yeah. Some exercise for you guys to try on. This is the verse
Titik
you
Shaswa.
can by heart it. It's very easy verse and very good to recite this verse. 2.11, 2.13. 2.14. They're very nice verses. And if you recite
So
them,
superb.
the meaning is also very good. If you recite them and try to implement, it will make a big difference in your life. And trust me, it will take quite a few years to even implement a few, you know, what you call droplets out from the whole concept, which is the whole ocean, within these four verses. Very difficult, you know. If someone says something wrong to you, like, try to tolerate it. Titikshasva, that word should come in your mind. Can I tolerate this? Or you just wait to give that back to that person straight away. Very difficult. The idea is, I'll tell you the practical implementation which I follow. If someone says something ill or something bad, I wait for 24 hours to respond. They're very difficult in the beginning, trust me. If someone tries to hurt you, कुछ ऐसा ईमेल में लिख दिया ना गंदा सा आपको, और कुछ बोल दिया ऑफिस में कुछ गंदा सा आपको, सबके सामने, स्पेशली 10 लोगों के सामने कुछ ऐसा बोल दिया, टॉलरेट नहीं कर पाओगे, मुंह पे आ जाएगा, पूरा लाल हो जाओगे पूरे, मन करेगा अभी इसको कट करके जवाब दूं मैं. बट इफ यू कैन टॉलरेट दैट सेंसेस, वो सेंसेस तंग कर देंगे आपको, लाल पीला नीला सब कर देंगे वो. लेकिन अगर होल्ड कर लिया ना और रात को सो गए, नेक्स्ट डे you will be able to respond, and that will be very effective. Try that. And if you can do this, you will change completely. You'll be a successful person. Trust me. Yes, Rishi.
But this can be having some negative effects in the sense that if somebody says something, you don't respond, then they think this is a
No, no,
walkover.
no, 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 no.
You
This
said
is the.
respond with a delay.
This is no, no. What you're talking about is react. I'm
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about response. So the response is longer than the reaction. So what I'm trying to tell you is don't react. Respond.
Hmm.
Respond with intelligence.
Yes. Response requires buddhi. Reaction is only senses. I'm
But
not saying you don't.
it
I'm
is
not saying
very
don't
difficult.
reply. Yeah, it is very difficult.
Very
Trust me.
difficult.
Very
I have
difficult.
my little kid coming and going now. To
Yeah,
concentrate here is very difficult, and to make her stop also is difficult.
yeah. Especially when someone says something to you, some 10-second talk can remain in your heart for 10 years. You know, how you respond to that is the art. If you're carrying that kind of burning coal inside you, you'll be burning yourself. You want to throw that on someone, on the same person, as soon as possible. You wait for that chance. But if you can hold it and respond, keep yourself and tolerate it. And on top of that, if you can forgive that person, that is the topmost. Yeah. Then Krishna looks at you. I'll give you an example of Draupadi. Draupadi, all the sons, they were killed by Ashwathama. Ashwathama went and killed Draupadi's sons. And Arjun took a vow that I will get Ashwathama right at Draupadi's feet within 24 hours. And he did that. Went and caught Ashwathama and caught him to his knees, the feet of Draupadi. What did Draupadi say? It's a very nice explanation in Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Puran. Guess what Draupadi says?
I forgive you.
Very nice. And you know what context she gave him? She said, I have to forgive you, and I will forgive you, and I forgive you. Because You are the son of Kripi. Kripi was the wife of Dronacharya. Ashwathama was the son of Dronacharya and Kripi. Says, what I am feeling at the moment after losing my sons, she should not feel after losing you. So I forgive you. That is why she is Krishna, friend of Krishna. The biggest weapon is Shama. Very difficult. Very difficult. There are so many people in our heart whom we want to throw that burning coal upon. But as soon as you forgive them, Krishna knows and he'll come closer to you. Something to think upon, something to exercise. Tam titikshasva bharata. Okay, so we'll end our session here. We'll see you next week. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.